I'd like to give you some notes about Chapter 8 before you get started. So, Chapter 8 is about arc length and surface area. So, arc length, the formula is L equals the square root of 1 plus dy over dx, quantity squared, with respect to x. Now, this is when you're working in terms of x. This, by the way, this video is not to replace the other videos. The other videos are going to help you. I'm just going to help summarize which formulas to use when. So then your arc length, the other formula is L equals 1 plus dx over dy quantity squared with respect to y. So if your formula is easier in terms of x, then you're going to use the top equation. If your formula is easier in terms of y, then you're going to use the bottom equation. For example, if you have x equals stuff, then you're in terms of y, and you're going to want to use the bottom equation. And if you have y equals stuff, and then you want to be in terms of x, and you want to use the top equation. Hopefully that'll help. And then let's talk about surface area. So surface area has two formulas as well, but we're going to say there are four formulas, okay? So surface area says S equals the integral of 2 pi y ds. So that's when you're working with respect to the x, when you're looking at your surface area with respect to the x-axis. And then S equals the integral of 2 pi x ds when you're working in terms of the y-axis. I did say working in terms of it when you're rotating around the x-axis or the y-axis. Now, when you get that part, that's going to be scripted for you. So then you're going to say ds equals the square root of 1 plus dy over dx, quantity squared with respect to x. This is when you're in terms of x. And ds equals the square root of 1 plus dx over dy, quantity squared, dy, and this is when you're in terms of y. Now, the in terms of is given away because dy you're going to be in terms of y, and dx you're going to be in terms of x. So we could kind of think of this as x prime. And so we have x equals stuff like before. So here's the deal. Let what you're given determine which of these you're using. You can use whichever of these is easier. That is going to be your plan. And then you're going to have to use the one up above. Now, sometimes you're going to put in a y. Let's say you're using this top equation. Sometimes you're going to put in a y. Sometimes you're just going to use the letter y. So if you're working with an equation where you're working in terms of x. So that means I have x's everywhere and I have to put it into this equation. Then I'm going to change out the y to be in terms of x. This will make more sense after you use them, but write down the formulas, let what you're working with drive here, and then pick the top equation. And I think it'll make sense. Um, Secondly, surface area can be done using your calculator to integrate because they come out nicely in the math book, but they don't come out nicely elsewhere. Some of them are easy to do by hand, some of them are easier to do with your calculator. And I don't mind that you use your calculator for surface area and for arc length. When you get to Calc 3, you may need to be able to do it by hand. So it would be in your best interest to do some of them by hand and some of them using your calculator. All right. Well, I hope this helps and I hope that you have a great day. Like I said, watch the other videos. Watch this one first. Come back to it if you need to help decide what's going on, and then watch the other videos as well.